Okay, in this last part of the Movie Studio demo, I'll cover rendering a video. So before we showed how to add clips to it, add audio and titles, we've pretty much done all that. We've got the fades set up so everything fades here in sync. One thing I'll say about fading and syncing things up, you can actually click on the scrubber line where you want to fade things to, and then as you move it, you'll notice that the fader or the scrubber line turns yellow. It kind of snaps to that line. That way you can have everything fade in or out at the same time. But really what I'm going to cover now is rendering. So to render your video, there's a couple different options. You can click on the Make Movie. You can upload it directly to YouTube, share it online, or save it to my hard drive. I kind of prefer to do the save it to my hard drive, but I'm going to do it a little bit different. What I prefer to do is just go over to Project and do Render As, and it brings up kind of the same window as the save it to your hard drive. On here, make sure that it has the view all options selected. This just shows you a little bit more data on the screen, so that you can just validate what information you've got. So what I'm going to do here is call my file something St. John demo, and then of course I can select what folder to save it in. Now down below, what I prefer to do is look at this match project settings. If I select match project settings, what it's going to do is give me a bunch of templates that match either the video or audio project settings. Now again, some of these are just audio only. I really don't care about those. But if I go down and I look at this Sony AV-CHD 1920 by 1080, what I can see down here in this little box, it actually has audio at 192 kilobits per second, and it's got the video, it's got the correct frame rate and frame size that I'm looking for, and that's going to basically match the exact same settings of my video and the project that we set up. Now you can also select this more filter options, and if you wanted to select things that had maybe the same I don't know, video template or frame rate. Maybe you want to select the same frame rate but a different frame size. So if you maybe wanted to downgrade it to it's 1440 by 1080, for example, you could do that. But again, I prefer just to create one larger video and then I can upload that to YouTube, for example. Now, one of the other things that I'll just mention here is if I scroll down so I can see this customized template, you can look online and find YouTube videos about how you can manipulate some of these settings, for example the bit rates, so you can kind of control your file size a little bit more. Maybe you don't need as big a file size, so you can tweak the bit rate. And again, you can create some preset templates so that you can maybe make the file size a little smaller whenever you upload it to YouTube. But for this case, we're just going to select this 1920 by 1080 Sony AV-CHD. Down below is an option for render the loop option or render the loop region. So if I had highlighted back here on the background window a certain loop region, it would just render that. So I'm going to uncheck that box so it'll just render all of my video that I've got on the track. And pretty much that's it. Now the last thing I can do here is click render, and it's going to go ahead and render the video. While it's rendering, I'm just going to kind of recap here a few things. I'm a big fan of the shortcut keys and using the keyboard as I go through the workflow. It's probably easier for a beginner maybe to use some of the menu options or the icons, but once you learn some of these keyboard shortcuts, things really become pretty simple in editing your video. Again, some of the highlights of those were S for splitting a video. You can highlight a video and then hit the delete button to delete it. You can use Control plus the Z key to undelete something. Grouping and ungrouping. If you want to ungroup something, you can just highlight the clips and then hit U for ungroup, or you can highlight clips and hit G for group. To move things left and right, like frame by frame, you can press your cursor to a certain spot on the clip and then use the left and right arrows. And then for playback, again, you can hit space, the space button to start it, and space button to stop it, and that'll stop it back to where you started from, or you can hit the start button to start a video preview, and then you hit the enter button to stop it right where the scrubber bar is. So those are some tips. Hope you enjoyed this series, and